Part 1. The morning started like any other morning on the stellar Voyager. Jiwon walked into the mess hall, her dark hair still messy from sleep. She had been living on this alien research ship for 3 weeks now, and she was finally getting used to the strange food and the even stranger crew members. The mess hall was busy. Dr. Velik stood near the food dispensers. Their 6 insect-like legs moving in a pattern that Jiwon had learned meant they were happy. Captain Tormund sat at the main table, their reptilian scales catching the light as they read through morning reports. Mireille floated in a water tank near the window, bubbles rising from their translucent blue body. Jiwon grabbed a plate of what the ship's computer called protein paste. It tasted like nothing, but at least it was safe for humans to eat. She sat down at her usual spot and tried to ignore the way some crew members still stared at her. She was the only human on board. Most of them had never seen a human before she arrived. That's when the pain started. It came suddenly, like it always did. A sharp cramp in her lower stomach that made her wince. Jiwon put down her fork and pressed her hand against her abdomen. Not now, she thought. Not here. But her period didn't care about timing. Another cramp hit, stronger this time. Jiwon doubled over slightly, her breath catching. She tried to stay quiet, but a small groan escaped her lips. Immediately, every alien in the room turned to look at her. The ship's sensors, always monitoring the crew's health, began to beep. A red light flashed on the wall. Jiwon felt her face get hot with embarrassment as she realized what was happening. The sensors were detecting the changes in her body. The hormone shift, the increase in her heart rate, the slight rise in temperature. To the ship's computer, it looked like she was dying. Dr. Velik's moved faster than Jiwon had ever seen them move. Their 6 legs carried them across the mess hall in seconds. They pulled out a medical scanner and its screen lit up with urgent red symbols. Emergency! Dr. Velik's voice came through the translation device everyone wore. The human is experiencing critical organ failure. Captain Tormund jumped up from their seat. What? How bad is it? Dr. Velik's compound eyes darted across the scanner. Internal hemorrhaging. Tissue breakdown in the reproductive organs. Blood loss. Temperature irregularity. She needs immediate medical intervention. Jiwon looked up at them, confused and still in pain. Wait, what? No, I'm not. Don't try to speak, Dr. Velik said quickly. Save your strength. We're going to help you. But I'm fine, Jiwon tried to explain. Another cramp made her grab the table. It's just medical team to the mess hall immediately. Captain Tormund spoke into their communication device. We have a critical situation. Within seconds, 2 more aliens rushed into the room carrying medical equipment. Subin, a luminarian who glowed softly with bioluminescent light, came to Jiwon's side. Their telepathic abilities let them sense emotions, and they looked very worried. Her pain is real, Subin said quietly, but I sense no fear of death. This is strange. Shock, Dr. Velik said. She must be in shock. That's why she's not afraid. Jiwon wanted to laugh, but another cramp stopped her. She took a deep breath and tried again. Listen, please. I'm not dying. This is normal. It's called a period. The translation devices went silent for a moment, trying to find the right words. When they spoke again, the translation was incomplete. Period? Time measurement. This makes no sense, Dr. Velik said. No, not that kind of period, Jiwon said. She could feel everyone staring at her. It's a human thing. Female humans. It happens every month. My body is it's shedding the lining of my uterus. Captain Tormund's scales rippled, which Jiwon had learned meant confusion. Your body is destroying itself? Every month? Well, not destroying exactly. More like renewing? Jiwon tried to find simple words. It's part of reproduction. If there's no baby, the body gets rid of the extra tissue it built up. Dr. Velik looked at their scanner again, then at Jiwon, then back at the scanner. But you're bleeding internally. The scanner shows severe trauma. Yes, but it's normal bleeding, Jiwon said. She knew how crazy this must sound to them. It lasts a few days. Then it stops. I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. Silence filled the mess hall. Every alien stared at her like she had just said something impossible. Mireille spoke up from their water tank, their voice bubbling. You experience this trauma every month? For years? And you're still alive? Half of all humans do, Jiwon said. All the females. From puberty to middle age. It's completely normal. Dr. Velik's legs trembled slightly. This is not normal. This is not normal at all. No species in the concordance has this. No species we've ever studied has this. Captain Tormund stepped closer. Jiwan, are you certain you're not in danger? Despite the pain, Jiwan actually did laugh this time. I'm sure. I promise. I just need some pain medicine and some supplies and maybe a hot water bottle if you have something like that. Supplies? Dr. Velix asked. Jiwan felt her face get even hotter. This was embarrassing. For the bleeding, I need something to absorb it. Humans usually use pads or tampons. More confused silence. I think I need to contact my friend Hyeji, Jiwan said. She's human too. She's on another ship. She can explain this better than I can. Captain Tormund nodded slowly. Yes, we should do that. But first, we're taking you to Medical Bay, just to be safe. Jiwan didn't have the energy to argue. The cramps were getting worse and she just wanted to lie down. Fine, but I'm telling you I'm not dying. Dr. Velix helped her stand up, being very gentle. Even if this is normal for humans, we must monitor you. Your biology is still a mystery to us. We cannot risk losing you. As they walked to the medical bay, Jiwan could hear the crew members whispering. She caught words like bleeding and monthly and survives. She realized that this misunderstanding was going to become a much bigger deal than she thought. In the medical bay, Dr. Velix insisted on running more scans. Jiwan lay on the examination table, watching the doctor's 6 legs move nervously as they worked. The scanner showed her hormone levels, her blood flow, everything happening in her body. This is remarkable, Dr. Velix said quietly, and terrifying. Your body is actively causing damage to itself, but all your other systems are functioning normally. You show signs of pain but no signs of panic or distress beyond the physical discomfort. Because it's normal, Jiwan said again. Trust me, if something was really wrong, I would tell you. Subin entered the medical bay, still glowing softly. I have contacted the other human, Hyeji, but there is a communication delay. It will take several hours to receive her response. Several hours. Jiwan closed her eyes. This was going to be a long day. Captain Tormund stood at the door, watching with concern. Dr. Velix, what is your assessment? The doctor's compound eyes reflected the scanner's light. If what she says is true, then humans are far more resilient than we imagined. To endure this level of physical trauma monthly and consider it normal, it changes everything we thought we understood about survival and adaptation. Jiwan opened her eyes and looked at them. They looked scared for her. It was actually kind of sweet, even though it was unnecessary. I'm going to be fine. This will pass in a few days. I promise. But she could see they didn't believe her. To them, she was dying, and she was doing it every single month. Welcome to being human, Jiwan thought. Where normal is everyone else's nightmare. Part 2. 2 hours later, Jiwan was still in the medical bay. Dr. Velix had given her something for the pain, which helped a little. But they refused to let her leave. They kept running scans, checking her vital signs, and looking at her with their big compound eyes like she might collapse at any moment. Captain Tormund had called an emergency meeting with medical specialists from across the Concordance network. Jiwan could see their faces on the screen, aliens of all different shapes and sizes. Some had fur, some had scales. One looked like a floating cloud of gas. They all looked very worried. The human shows clear signs of internal trauma, a Centaurian doctor said through the screen. Blood loss, tissue degradation, hormonal chaos. By every medical standard we know this should be fatal. But she insists this is normal, Dr. Velix replied. She claims all female humans experience this monthly from youth to middle age. A Dracorian specialist's scales turned dark gray, which meant shock. Monthly? For decades? That's impossible. No organism can sustain that level of regular damage. Yet here she is, Captain Tormund said, gesturing toward Jiwan, alive and conscious. She even laughed when we told her she might be dying. The floating gas cloud doctor spoke, their voice coming through as a series of vibrations. Perhaps this is a psychological defense mechanism. Some species deny death when faced with it. It's possible the human doesn't understand what's happening to her body. Jiwan, who had been listening quietly, finally spoke up. I can hear you, you know. And I do understand my body, better than you do, apparently. All the alien doctors on the screen turned to look at her. I've been getting my period since I was 12. Jiwan continued. That's 12 years. 12 years times 12 months equals 144 periods, give or take. And I'm still here. Still alive. Still functioning. The silence that followed was heavy. 144 times, Dr. Velix repeated slowly. You have experienced this trauma 144 times. More or less, Jiwan said. Some months are worse than others. This one is pretty bad, actually. Usually it's not this painful. Captain Tormund sat down heavily. Worse than this? You're saying it can be worse? Sometimes, Jiwan admitted. Some women have it really bad. Endometriosis, PCOS, other conditions. I'm actually pretty lucky. Mine is just uncomfortable. Mireille's voice bubbled from their water tank in the corner. Let me understand. You call this lucky? This level of pain is lucky, compared to some women? Yes, Jiwan said. Some people can't even get out of bed. Some need surgery. I just need pain medicine and a heating pad. Subin moved closer to Jiwan, their telepathic senses reaching out. I need to understand something. When I touch your emotions, I feel annoyance, frustration, embarrassment, but no fear. How can you not fear this? Jiwan shrugged. Because it's normal. It's like asking why I don't fear going to the bathroom. It's just something my body does. I don't like it, but I'm used to it. The luminarian's glow dimmed with confusion. But going to the bathroom doesn't cause internal bleeding. True, Jiwan said. Look, I know this seems crazy to you, but to humans it's just life. We deal with it. We don't really have a choice. One of the doctors on the screen, an older Aquarian, spoke thoughtfully. Perhaps we should consider the evolutionary context. What environment would require such a reproductive system? Dr. Velix pulled up information on their data pad. According to our records, Earth is a Class 7 world. High gravity, extreme temperature variations, aggressive microbial life, predators at every level of the food chain. The planet itself seems designed to kill. That's a bit dramatic, Jiwan said. But yeah, Earth isn't the friendliest planet. Perhaps that's why, the Aquarian doctor said. A species that evolved in constant danger would need to be remarkably hardy. Your reproductive system, while traumatic by our standards, ensures readiness for reproduction at any time. It's inefficient, but it's robust. Captain Tormund nodded slowly. So humans trade efficiency for resilience. We didn't trade anything, Jiwan said. We just evolved this way. It's not like we chose it. A young crew member, a Centaurian named Deho, spoke up from the doorway. If this is normal, why didn't we know about it? Why isn't it in the database? Because humans are new to the concordance, Captain Tormund explained. We've only made contact with a handful of humans, and apparently this is not something they thought to mention. Would you? Jiwan asked. When meeting aliens for the first time, would you immediately tell them about your bathroom habits or reproductive cycles? It's kind of personal. Dr. Velix's legs twitched. But this is critical medical information. To you maybe, Jiwan said. To us it's just Tuesday. Or Wednesday. Whatever day it is. The gas cloud doctor made a sound like wind chimes. I believe we need to update our database immediately. All personnel working with humans must be informed of this condition. It's not a condition, Jiwan corrected. It's a normal biological process. A normal biological process that looks like death to every medical scanner in the concordance, Dr. Velix muttered. Suddenly, a communication alert beeped. Subin checked their device. The response from the other human Hyeji has arrived. Everyone in the room leaned forward as Subin played the message. Hyeji's face appeared on the screen. She was smiling, but she also looked a bit tired. Hi everyone, Hyeji's recorded voice said. I got Juwon's message. Let me guess. You all think she's dying because she's on her period? Several aliens nodded, even though it was just a recording. She's not dying, Hyeji continued. She's fine. This is going to sound crazy, but menstruation is completely normal for human females. Let me explain. For the next 10 minutes, Hyeji gave a detailed explanation. She talked about hormones and the uterine lining and ovulation. She explained how human females are born with thousands of eggs and release one every month. She described how the body prepares for pregnancy even when there's no chance of pregnancy happening. The alien crew listened in stunned silence. The average human woman will menstruate about 500 times in her lifetime, Hyeji said. From age 12 or 13 until age 45 or 50. It lasts 3 to 7 days each time. Yes, there's bleeding. Yes, there's pain. But it's normal. We don't die from it. We just deal with it. She paused, then added, Oh, and if you haven't already, you should probably synthesize some menstrual supplies for Jiwan. I'll send you the specifications. Pads, tampons, pain medicine. She's going to need them. The message ended. Nobody spoke for a long moment. Finally, Dr. Velik said, 500 times. In a lifetime, 500 times. Now you're getting it, Jiwan said. Captain Tormund looked at Jiwan with something that might have been respect. Your species endures this for decades. You continue working, living, functioning, all while experiencing what we would consider a medical crisis. Pretty much, Jiwan said, though most of the time it's not this dramatic. You guys just have really sensitive medical equipment. Mirai bubbled thoughtfully in their tank. Humans are either very brave or very strange. I cannot decide which, can't it be both? Jiwan asked, finally allowing herself to smile. Dr. Velix began typing rapidly on their datapad. I'm updating the medical database now. Every ship with human crew members needs to know about this. We cannot have emergency alerts every time a human female menstruates. That would get old fast, Jiwan agreed. Subin sat down beside Jiwan's medical bed. I apologize for doubting you. Your emotions told me you weren't afraid, but I thought perhaps you were in denial. No denial, Jiwan said. Just another month in the life of a human female. Captain Tormund stood up. I'm calling off the emergency. Dr. Velix, please synthesize the supplies Hyeji mentioned. Jiwan, I apologize for the overreaction. It's okay, Jiwan said. You didn't know. And honestly, it's kind of nice that you all cared so much. But as the crew began to leave, Jiwan could hear them whispering. She caught words like incredible and resilient, and no wonder they survived. The way they looked at her had changed. They weren't just curious anymore. They were impressed, maybe even a little scared. She wasn't just a token human anymore. She was living proof that humans were tougher than anyone had realized. Part 3 days later, Jiwan felt much better. Her period was almost over and the pain had finally stopped. Dr. Velix had synthesized everything she needed. Pads, pain medicine, even a heating pack that worked perfectly. The medical bay had released her, though the doctor still wanted to see her every day for checkups. But something had changed on the ship. The crew looked at her differently now. Some seemed fascinated, others seemed nervous. A few avoided her completely, like they were scared of her. Word had spread fast through the Concordance network. Apparently, the story of the human who survived monthly organ trauma had become quite popular. Jiwan's communication device kept getting messages from xenobiologists and researchers from across the galaxy, all wanting to study human reproduction. She ignored most of them. Jiwan was in the observation deck, looking out at the stars when Subin found her. The luminarian's soft glow reflected off the windows. May I join you? Subin asked. Sure, Jiwan said. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Subin spoke. I have been thinking about what happened, about what you told us, and I realized something. What's that? Jiwan asked. My species evolved on a peaceful world, Subin said. Gentle climate. No predators. Plenty of food. We never had to be tough because we never had to be. But humans, you had to be tough just to survive, and you had to keep being tough every single day. Jiwan thought about that. I guess that's true. Earth isn't easy, but we don't really think about it. It's just home. That's what makes it remarkable, Subin said. You don't see your own strength because you've never known anything else. Before Jiwan could respond, Dr. Velix's voice came through the ship's communication system. Jiwan, please report to the conference room. Captain Tormund has called a meeting. When Jiwan arrived at the conference room, she found most of the senior crew already there. Captain Tormund sat at the head of the table, their scales a calm blue color. Dr. Velix was reviewing data on a pad. Mirai floated in a portable water tank. Even Deho, the young engineer, was present. Thank you for coming, Captain Tormund said. We wanted to discuss something with you. Dr. Velix? The doctor's compound eyes focused on Jiwan. I have been researching human biology more thoroughly. The menstruation incident made me realize how little we actually know about your species. So I read everything available in the Concordance database about Earth and humans. Okay, Jiwan said slowly, not sure where this was going. And I found something disturbing. Dr. Velix continued. Humans regularly consume toxins for pleasure. Jiwan blinked. What? Alcohol, caffeine, capsaicin. All of these are toxic substances. Yet humans deliberately ingest them. Some humans consume them daily. Dr. Velix's legs trembled slightly. You even breed plants to be more toxic so they taste stronger. Oh, Jiwan said. Yeah, I guess we do. You guess? Mirai's voice bubbled with disbelief. This is not normal behavior. It's not that bad, Ji-won tried to explain. Those toxins are pretty mild. Our livers can handle them, and they make food and drinks more interesting. Your livers can handle them, Captain Tormund repeated. Most species would need medical intervention after consuming what humans consider a normal meal. Ji-won remembered the coffee she used to drink every morning back on Earth. She missed it. Is this why you called a meeting?
To tell me my diet is weird?
No, Dr. Velix said. We called this meeting because I found more concerning information. According to the database, human childbirth has a mortality rate that would be considered catastrophic for any other species, yet humans continue to reproduce at high rates. Well, it's better now than it used to be, Ji-won said. Modern medicine has made it much safer. But it's still dangerous, Dr. Velix insisted. Your young are born underdeveloped compared to other species. They cannot walk or feed themselves for months. They require constant care for years, and the birth process itself often requires surgical intervention. Ji-won shrugged. Yeah, human babies are pretty helpless. But we managed, Daeho leaned forward. I also read something interesting. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. You would chase animals for hours, sometimes days, until they collapsed from exhaustion. Is this true? That's what the anthropologists say, Ji-won confirmed. Our ancestors would just keep following prey. The animals were faster, but we had better endurance. Eventually, they'd be too tired to run anymore. Subin's glow brightened. So humans are built for endurance rather than speed or strength. I guess so, Ji-won said. We're not the fastest or the strongest, but we can keep going for a long time. Captain Tormund's scales shifted to a thoughtful green. This explains much. Your species didn't evolve to be comfortable. You evolved to endure, to persist despite difficulty. Maybe, Ji-won said, but it's not like we think about it. We just live our lives. That's exactly my point, Captain Tormund said. What you consider normal life would be an extreme survival situation for most species. Yet you treat it as routine. Dr. Velix set down their data pad. I have been writing a paper about human biology. I wanted to ask your permission before publishing it. A paper? About me? Ji-won felt uncomfortable. About humans in general, Dr. Velix clarified. But yes, using you as a case study. The title is Humans: Adaptation Through Adversity. It discusses how your species developed remarkable resilience by evolving in a hostile environment. I don't know, Ji-won said. It feels weird to have people studying us like we're some kind of anomaly. But you are an anomaly, Mirai said gently. Most species in the Concordance evolved on stable, peaceful worlds. We optimized our biology over millions of years. We eliminated pain, streamlined reproduction, and removed anything inefficient. But humans kept all the difficult parts, and somehow that made you stronger. Ji-won thought about her period, about childbirth, about all the things that made human life hard. She'd never really considered it before. To her, it was just normal. But to these aliens, it was incredible. Okay, she said finally. You can publish the paper, but please be respectful about it. We're not superheroes. We're just people trying to get by. Dr. Velix's legs moved in what Ji-won had learned was their version of a bow. Of course. Thank you. Later that evening, Ji-won called Hyeji. Her friend's face appeared on the screen, smiling widely. I heard about your adventure, Hyeji said. The whole ship thought you were dying. Not my finest moment, Ji-won admitted. But at least now they know what a period is. Hyeji laughed. You should see what happened here. After I sent that explanation, my crew started treating me like I'm made of glass. They keep asking if I'm okay. They get worried when I eat spicy food. It's sweet but also annoying. Same here, Ji-won said. Dr. Velix monitors my vital signs constantly now. They're writing a paper about human resilience. We're famous, Hyeji joked. The humans who survive the impossible. It's not impossible, though, Ji-won said. It's just life. To them, life and impossible might be the same thing, Hyeji said thoughtfully. Think about it. They've never had to endure the way we have. They don't know what it's like to just push through pain and keep going. That's uniquely human. Ji-won looked out her window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, their difficult, dangerous, beautiful home, the planet that made them tough without them even realizing it. I guess we are pretty tough, she said. We have to be, Hyeji replied. We're human. After the call ended, Ji-won sat in silence for a while. She thought about everything the crew had told her. About resilience and adaptation and endurance. About how humans kept going even when things were hard. She'd never felt particularly special before. She was just Ji-won, a regular person who happened to be far from home. But maybe that was the point. Maybe being human meant being tough without even noticing it. The door chimed. Subin entered carrying something. "I brought you a gift," the Luminarian said. It was a heating pad, freshly synthesized, better than the last one. "For next month," Subin explained. "So you'll be more comfortable." Jiwan smiled. "Thank you. That's really kind." "It's the least we can do," Subin said. "After all, you endure so much already. We should help where we can." As Subin left, Jiwan held the heating pad and felt something warm in her chest that had nothing to do with heat. The crew wasn't just fascinated by humans anymore. They cared. They wanted to help. They respected what humans went through even if they didn't fully understand it. Maybe being the only human on an alien ship wasn't so bad after all. Part 4. 2 months passed. Life on the stellar Voyager settled into a new normal. The crew had grown used to Jiwan, and she had grown used to them. Dr. Velix's paper had been published and received surprising attention throughout the concordance. Apparently, everyone was fascinated by humans. Jiwan had gotten her period twice since the first incident. Both times the ship's medical sensors detected it. But now they just logged it as normal human biology instead of triggering an emergency. Dr. Velix still checked on her, but it was more out of scientific curiosity than worry. Things were going well. Until the day the gas leak happened. Jiwan was in her quarters when the alarm sounded. The ship's emergency system announced that there was a toxic gas leak in the lower engineering deck. All crew members were ordered to evacuate that section immediately. She rushed to the command center, where Captain Tormund was coordinating the evacuation. Their scales had turned dark red, which meant stress. "How bad is it?" Jiwan asked. "Bad," the captain replied. "A coolant line ruptured. The gas is spreading fast. We've evacuated everyone from the lower decks, but we can't seal the breach remotely. Someone needs to go down there and manually close the valve." "What about protective gear?" Jiwan asked. Deho looked up from his station. "The full hazard suits take 10 minutes to seal properly. By then, the gas will have spread to the main systems. We'll lose life support for half the ship." "So we need someone fast," Jiwan said. "Fast and able to survive exposure," Captain Tormund added grimly. "The gas isn't immediately lethal, but it causes severe respiratory damage. Most species would need weeks of treatment after even brief exposure." Dr. Velix pulled up toxicology data on their screen. "The gas attacks lung tissue and disrupts cellular function. For most concordant species, the damage would be permanent." Jiwan looked at the chemical composition on the screen. Something about it looked familiar. She'd seen similar compounds in Earth's industrial facilities. "What about humans?" Everyone turned to look at her. "What about human tolerance?" she clarified. "You said most species would be severely damaged. But what about humans?" Dr. Velix's legs moved quickly across their interface, pulling up data. Their compound eyes widened. "According to the database, human livers and kidneys are exceptionally good at processing toxins. Your immune system is also highly aggressive. You might be able to tolerate short-term exposure." "Might." Captain Tormund's voice was sharp. "The data is incomplete," Dr. Velix admitted. "But based on what we know about human biology, Jiwan could potentially withstand 2 to 3 minutes of exposure with only minor damage." "How long would it take to close the valve?" Jiwan asked. 90 seconds, Deho said. "If you know what you're doing." "Then teach me," Jiwan said. "Absolutely not," Captain Tormund said immediately. "I will not risk your life." "You're risking everyone's life if the gas reaches main systems," Jiwan pointed out. "I'm the only one who can do this quickly enough." "You know I'm right." The captain's scales flickered between red and yellow. "This is not acceptable. You are a member of my crew. I should be protecting you, not sending you into danger." "You are protecting me," Jiwan said, "and everyone else on this ship, by letting me help." Subin's glow dimmed with worry. "Jiwan, this is dangerous. Even for humans." "I know," Jiwan said, "but I also know I can handle it. My body is built for this kind of thing, remember?" "Humans are tough." Dr. Velix looked at Captain Tormund. "She's right. Statistically, she has the best chance of success. Any other crew member would suffer severe, possibly fatal damage." Captain Tormund was silent for a long moment. Then their scales turned a resigned gray. "Very well. But you'll wear a basic breathing mask. It won't filter everything, but it will help, and Deho will guide you through the repair procedure step by step." 5 minutes later, Jiwan stood at the entrance to the lower engineering deck. She wore a simple mask over her nose and mouth and carried a toolkit. Through her communication device, she could hear Deho's voice. "The valve is straight ahead, 30 meters, Deho said. You'll see a red wheel. Turn it clockwise until it stops. That's all you need to do." "Got it," Jiwan said. She took a deep breath of clean air, then opened the door. The gas was visible, a green-yellow haze that hung in the air. Even through the mask, Jiwan could smell it, sharp and chemical. Her eyes began to water immediately. Her throat felt scratchy, but she could breathe. It hurt, but she could breathe. She moved forward quickly. The gas got thicker as she went deeper into the corridor. Her lungs protested, but they kept working. She could feel her body fighting the toxins, her liver and kidneys working overtime. "I see the valve," she said, her voice rough. "Your vitals are elevated but stable," Dr. Velix reported. "You're doing well." "But hurry," Jiwan reached the valve. Her hands were shaking slightly, but she grabbed the red wheel firmly. It was stuck. She pulled harder, putting her weight into it. The wheel didn't move. "It's not turning," she said. "The pressure buildup," Deho said quickly. "Use the release lever first." "It's on the left side of the valve." Jiwan found the lever and pulled. There was a hissing sound and more gas sprayed out. She coughed hard, her chest burning. But she didn't let go of the lever. When the hissing stopped, she tried the wheel again. This time it moved. She turned it clockwise, just like Deho had said. Her arms ached, but she kept turning. The wheel was heavy, designed for stronger species with more limbs. But Jiwan was human. And humans were persistent. She turned the wheel until it wouldn't turn anymore. Then she leaned against the wall, coughing. "Done," she managed to say. "Confirmed," Deho said, relief clear in his voice. "The leak is sealed." "Get out of there now," Jiwan stumbled back the way she came. Her vision was blurry. Her lungs felt like they were on fire, but she made it to the door and fell through into the clean air of the safe corridor. Dr. Velix was waiting with a medical team. They caught her as she collapsed, immediately running scanners over her body. "Lung irritation," the doctor announced. "Mild chemical burns. Elevated toxin levels, but nothing permanent. She'll recover fully within a day." Captain Tormund knelt beside Jiwan. "You saved the ship," they said quietly. "You saved all of us." Jiwan tried to smile, but it turned into another cough. "Just doing my part." In the medical bay an hour later, Jiwan lay on the familiar examination table. Her throat still hurt and her eyes were red and irritated. But Dr. Velix had given her medicine and she was already starting to feel better. Subin sat beside her bed. That was incredibly brave. And incredibly foolish. Probably both, Jiwan admitted. Her voice was hoarse. "Any other species would have died," Subin said. "Or at least suffered permanent damage. But you just endured it. Like you endure everything else." "Humans are good at enduring," Jiwan said. "It's kind of our thing." Captain Tormund entered the medical bay. "I wanted to check on you personally, and to thank you. What you did today was extraordinary." "You would have done the same," Jiwan said. "No," the captain said. "I wouldn't have survived long enough to try." "That's the difference. That's what makes humans remarkable. You don't just survive impossible situations. You walk into them willingly if it means protecting others." Jiwan thought about that. She'd never considered herself particularly brave. She'd just done what needed to be done. But maybe that was the point. Maybe bravery wasn't about being fearless. It was about being scared and doing it anyway. "The Concordance has formally invited humanity to join as a member species," Captain Tormund said. "The decision was already in progress, but after today it's unanimous. They want humans in the Alliance. They say we need your kind of strength." "Our kind of strength?" Jiwan asked. "The strength to keep going when anyone else would stop," Captain Tormund said. "The strength to endure. To persist. That's valuable. More valuable than we realized." Jiwan closed her eyes. She thought about Earth, about all the humans living their lives, dealing with pain and difficulty and just pushing through it. They didn't think they were special. They were just living, but maybe that was what made them special. Part 5. 6 months had passed since G1 first arrived on the stellar Voyager. 6 months since the period incident that made her famous across the Concordance. 6 months of learning, growing, and becoming part of a crew that had started as strangers and become family. Today was special. Today the ship was receiving new crew members. Human crew members. G1 stood in the docking bay with Captain Tormund, Dr. Velix, and several other crew members. They were all nervous in their own ways. The aliens had never worked with multiple humans before, and the humans had never lived on an alien ship before. The docking tube connected with a hiss. The door opened. 3 humans stepped through, looking around with wide eyes. Jiwan recognized the signs immediately. The tension in their shoulders. The way their eyes kept darting around. The nervous energy. She'd felt the same way 6 months ago. "Welcome to the Stellar Voyager," Captain Tormund said, their translator converting the words into clear human language. "I am Captain Tormund. This is my crew." The 3 humans introduced themselves. Eunji, a young engineer fresh from training. Minho, a linguist who specialized in Xena languages. And Somin, a botanist who would be working with the ship's gardens. "And this is Jiwan," Captain Tormund said, gesturing toward her. "She's been with us for 6 months. She'll help you adjust to life on board?" Eunji's eyes lit up. "You're the Jiwan? The one who survived the gas leak? And the period incident?" Jiwan felt her face get hot. "Oh, you heard about that." "Everyone's heard about it," Minho said. "You're famous. The human who taught the concordance that we're tougher than we look." "I wouldn't say famous," Jiwan mumbled. "I just had bad timing." Dr. Velix's legs moved in amusement. Jiwan is modest. She's been invaluable to our understanding of human biology and capabilities. We've learned more from her in 6 months than from years of database research. Jiwan gave the 3 newcomers a tour of the ship. She showed them the mess hall, the living quarters, the recreation areas. As they walked, she answered their questions. "What's the food like?" Soman asked. "Boring but safe," Jiwan replied. "They've synthesized some Earth foods for us now. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. Just don't ask for anything spicy. They think capsaicin is a deadly poison." "Are they scared of us?" Eunji asked quietly. Jiwan thought about how to answer that. "Not scared exactly. More like impressed and maybe a little concerned. They think we're incredibly tough because our normal biology looks dangerous to them." "Are we tough?" Minho asked. "Tougher than we realize," Jiwan said. "I've learned that living here. What we think is normal is actually pretty remarkable." They stopped in the observation deck. Through the large windows, space stretched out in all directions, full of stars and possibility. "I have a question," Eunji said. "What's the hardest part of living here?" Jiwan looked out at the stars and thought about her answer. "The hardest part is explaining that just because we can survive something doesn't mean we enjoy it. The crew here, they're amazing. They're kind and smart and they care. But they see humans as these super resilient beings who don't feel pain the same way. It's hard to make them understand that we hurt just like anyone else. We just keep going anyway. So we're tough but not invincible," Salman said. "Exactly," Jiwan said. "We're just really, really stubborn." That evening there was a welcome dinner for the new crew members. The mess hall was decorated with lights and someone had programmed the synthesizers to make Earth food. It wasn't perfect, but it was the thought that counted. Jiwan sat between Subin and Dr. Velix watching as the new humans tried to navigate conversation with the alien crew. It was awkward at first, just like it had been for her. But slowly people started to relax. Eunji was talking to Deho about engineering. Minho was trying to learn Centaurian clicking sounds from another crew member. Soman was discussing Earth plants with Mirai, even though Mirai lived in water and had never seen soil. "They're fitting in well," Captain Tormund observed. Their scales a pleased green color. "They will," Jiwan said. "Humans are adaptable. It's another one of our survival traits." Dr. Velix leaned closer. "I wanted to thank you, Jiwan, for everything you've taught us. We thought we knew about biology and survival. But humans have shown us that there are many ways to be strong. Your way is different from ours, but it's no less valid." "You're welcome," Jiwan said, "though I wasn't really trying to teach anyone. I was just trying to survive." "That's exactly what made it valuable," Dr. Velix said. "You showed us survival in action." Later, when most of the crew had left, Jiwan found herself alone in the observation deck again. "Eunji found her there. Mind if I join you?" the young engineer asked. "Go ahead," Jiwan said. They stood together in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Eunji spoke. "I'm nervous. About living here. About being around aliens. What if I mess up?" "You will mess up," Jiwan said honestly. "I did multiple times, but that's okay. They understand. And they're patient. Just be yourself. That's all they want." "Were you scared when you first arrived?" "Terrified," Jiwan admitted. "I was the only human on a ship full of aliens. I didn't know if they would accept me, if I would fit in. But they did, and I did. And you will too, Yunji smiled. Thanks. That helps. And if you ever need help, Jiwon added, just ask. That's what we do. Humans and aliens together. We help each other. The next morning, Jiwon had been asked to give a presentation to the new human crew members, a sort of orientation about life on an alien ship. She stood in front of them feeling oddly nervous, so she began. You're probably wondering what it's like to be human on an alien ship. The short answer is different. The longer answer is more complicated. She told them about the medical scanners that were too sensitive, about how the aliens thought human biology was dangerous, about the food and the customs and all the little things that would surprise them. The most important thing to understand, Jiwon said, is that the aliens here have never had to endure the way we have. Their worlds were kinder. Their evolution was easier. They optimized their biology to remove pain and difficulty. We didn't, we kept all the hard parts, and that makes us different. Different how? Minyo asked. We're more resilient, Jiwon said. We can handle things that would incapacitate other species. But that doesn't mean we don't feel pain. That doesn't mean we're invincible. It just means we're used to pushing through difficulty. She paused, looking at each of them. The aliens here will be amazed by you. They'll think you're incredibly tough, and you are. But don't let that make you feel like you can't ask for help. Don't let it make you feel like you have to be superhuman. Because you're not superhuman. You're just human, and that's enough. Someone raised her hand. What if we get hurt or sick? Dr. Velix is an excellent doctor, Jiwon said. They've learned a lot about human medicine. They'll take care of you, but you have to communicate. If something hurts, tell them. If you're not feeling well, tell them. They can't help if they don't know. After the presentation, Captain Tormund approached Jiwon. That was well done. You've become quite the ambassador for your species. I'm not an ambassador, Jiwon protested. I'm just a person who happened to be in the right place at the right time. Or the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on how you look at it. Perhaps, Captain Tormund said. But you've shown us something valuable. You've shown us that strength comes in many forms, and that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply keep going. That night, Jiwon received a call from Hyeji. Her friend's face appeared on the screen, grinning. I heard you got new humans on your ship, Hyeji said. 3 of them, Jiwon confirmed. They're nice. A bit nervous, but they'll be fine. Look at you, Hyeji teased. The veteran showing the newbies the ropes. Remember when you were the one panicking about everything? I still panic sometimes, Jiwon admitted. But less often now. I've gotten used to it. That's the human way, Hyeji said. Get used to the impossible and make it normal. They talked for a while longer, sharing stories about their respective crews. When the call ended, Jiwon felt grateful. Grateful for Hyeji, for the Stellar Voyager crew, for the new humans who were starting their own adventures. A few days later, something happened that reminded Jiwon just how much things had changed. Unji came to the medical bay looking pale and uncomfortable. Dr. Velix saw her immediately. What's wrong? They asked with genuine concern. I think I'm getting my period, Unji said quietly. The medical sensors beeped. Red lights started flashing. But this time Dr. Velix just calmly turned them off. No emergency, the doctor announced to the ship's system. Normal human biology. Logging as standard menstrual cycle. They turned to Unji with what might have been a smile. I have supplies ready. Heating pad, pain medicine, everything you need. Jiwon taught us well. Unji looked relieved. So no panic this time? No panic, Dr. Velix confirmed. We understand now. Though I admit it still seems remarkable to me that you endure this monthly. We don't really have a choice, Unji said with a small smile. But you handle it with such grace, Dr. Velix said. That's what makes humans special. Not that you survive difficulty, but that you do so with dignity and humor. Jiwon, who had been watching from the doorway, smiled. 6 months ago, the same situation had caused a ship-wide emergency. Now it was just routine.